Hi everyone, thanks so much for listening to my earlier video today, which was about the threat here in Colorado schools to our students. And so over 500,000 kids didn't go to school today because of an 18-year-old who was making threats. So now that we are in the afternoon, we now know that she has killed herself, and parents are asking, how am I going to now talk to my kid about this person that I had to talk to them this morning about these threats and why they weren't going to school. Now I have to tell them that, yeah, they found her and there's no threat to our school right now, but she killed herself. And people are also asking me about what they can do to talk to their kids about just transitioning back to school and feeling safe. So I thought I would give some tips on, I think, how you can address both those issues. The first one is I'm hoping that this is our opportunity to talk to kids, even young kids, about mental health. And so the message is, this was an 18-year-old that, without even knowing her, we know had significant mental illness. And so much so that she had thoughts that were totally unsafe and not okay. And she wanted to have actions that were really dangerous, which also shows us that she doesn't have good mental health. And in the end, she took her life, which lets us know that she was really scared and she was really struggling. And while the police were looking for her, they were trying to keep us safe, but they were also trying to get her the help that she needed. So I think that there's a way that you can communicate that to your kids that comes from a compassionate and loving place. It doesn't have to demonize her. You don't have to say things like, oh, well, who cares, or good, because she wanted to hurt other people. I think that the message to kids is our physical health is as important as our mental health. And when we don't take care of our mental health and it goes untreated, really terrible things can happen. And this is an example of that. So I think you take that message and you adjust it for elementary age kids, middle school age kids, and high school age kids. Certainly high school age kids can fully know mental illness and deranged thoughts, and all kids can know if you see something, say something, that at some point in our life we might all need some help. This was somebody who was really in desperate need of help and clearly didn't have it. So that's how I would address her suicide. And then how I would address going back to school is actually, it's time, it's listening more than you're talking, and patience. So there are definitely going to be a lot of kids that are a little uneasy. It can range from anything from probably uneasy going back to school to scared. And there might be some kids that feel okay about it, but I would say for the most part, there's going to be some anxiety. And even if your kid seems okay, once they get into school and they're in that environment where kids are talking about it and kids are, there's a mix of kids that are nervous and all of that, then they're going to really feel it as well. So it definitely impacts everybody and teachers as well. So what I would say is really think about the transition. Give yourself extra time tomorrow. If you've got younger kids, walk them to school, walk them into school if you can. Assure them that the safety plan that the school had and that law enforcement had worked, and that we are learning every single time that there's a scary incident or a tragic incident, we learn from it and we implement new plans, and that we are continuously learning, and that really emphasizing that safety was put first, that Denver metro area and just the state of Colorado did the right thing. To emphasize that to kids, I think, can be really reassuring. And so I would say, tonight at dinner and at bedtime, talk about this, because if you're not the one talking about it, other kids are going to give them information and some of it's going to be wrong. So I would limit social media. I would limit TV exposure, and I would really spend the day just being together and then at times talking about it. But you want to be the one to give them the information that we currently know. You want to be the one to set the tone and the message for how we're going to view this woman and what happened. And I think there's a lot more good to be had if it comes from a concerned and compassionate way rather than an angry or fear-based way. So talk to your kids, talk to them tonight, talk to them tomorrow morning. Don't feel like, you're wanting to avoid the topic or just quickly move on with it. That's our natural tendency. Hang in there with this. We've got the 20th anniversary of Columbine coming up on Saturday. We're not through having the conversations and having kids feel some fear and have some questions about the safety in their schools. So I hope that was helpful, and let's all just keep the conversation going over the next couple of days and weeks. Thanks so much for listening. Bye-bye.